Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Becky Brown.
Hello, everyone. We are so glad that you decided to tune in today, and I am going to be taking your calls along with Marc, Cameron, and JJ West. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hey, Becky. So good to be on with you.
I'm glad you guys are here. We are going to take calls for the next couple hours. And, listeners, if you have a call, you can call us at 1-800-229-3000. And, one of the things that we hear a lot on our calls and in different things that we do is the resistance or the perceived resistance that men have in asking for help. And so I don't know if that is just an imaginary thing or if that is an actual deal. And, JJ, I know that because you speak at our Every Man's Battle workshop, you are in the thick of it with the guys. Do you think that that's an actual truth, or is that something that we just perceive?
I think it's an actual truth. I think that there is definitely reality to that. And I think here's why. I'll give you one of the reasons why I think that happens. Whenever we have to ask for help, actually, I'm going to give you two reasons. One is that we have to humble ourselves in order to ask for help, right? That's an aspect of humility to say, I can't do it on my own. So I have to humble myself. Mm-hmm. But the second thing is that it points to my incompetence or my inadequacy. We're told over and over that we should be able to do it ourselves. We should be able to fix it ourselves. We should be able to solve it ourselves. And so if I have to ask for help, that's proof that I can't do it. And that's a shame message that I have to take on as a man. I can't do it. I feel incompetent or inadequate in some way. And we hate that. We really hate that. And so we try to figure it out on our own over and over and over. And of course we fail over and over and over.
Absolutely. Well, Marc, so JJ says it's a fact that men have a hard time asking for help. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. The messaging in the Western culture tells us as men, admitting weakness, admitting that we need help is weakness, right? And so we tend not to reach out. But when we do reach out, we discover that many other people struggle with the same things that we do, and then that actually normalizes the experience for us, and then makes it easier for us to seek help, because we only heal in community. We can't do it by ourselves. We need others. And so when we can be brave enough to reach out, we can find that we can get that help.
Mm-hmm. So both of you, I would love for you to speak into the man that's listening right now who knows that he's struggling with something, but he doesn't quite know where to go or what to do. JJ, let's start with you. What would you say to that man who needs to seek help?
Yeah, so call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, right?
There you
get
go.
Connected with a counselor, right? Through the counselor network. Reach out to your friends and let them know, hey, I'm struggling in this area. Don't do it alone. Don't try and fight it alone. We say at the workshop all the time, your best thinking got you here, right? Like you need to reach out and learn to receive from others. The scripture tells us there's great wisdom in the counsel of many. So don't try and figure it out on your own. Reach out to your friends and ask for help.
I love that. Marc, how about you before we go to the break?
Just the same thing here, right? We're here for you. We can help you. We're just one phone call away. When you reach out, you'll find we got many resources, and you're just one phone call away from finding freedom.
I love that. Well, we are here to help you. You can call us here today on the show, 1-800-229-3000, or like they both said, go to 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. We want to help you, male or female, get to your best life. We'll be right back.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery And one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. Like I said, we are taking your calls, 1-800-229-3000. But JJ, I know that you just were at an Every Man's Battle workshop and you had a funny story about an experience there.
I did. So I think this is a complimentary story for me, and unfortunately an insulting story for Mark, because at the workshop, one of the guys came up to me and he said, "Hey, I watch you all the time on New Life Live. So it's great to meet you." He said, but it's weird because you don't speak with an accent in person. And I said, oh, that's not me. And so I was very flattered that he thought I looked anything like Mark, but I'm sorry, Mark, that someone actually thought I could pass for you. Very sad.
Well, let's hear your best British accent, JJ. That's the true test.
No. that would be embarrassing beyond reason.
That's so funny.
Well, you know, it is funny because we hear from so many people who are listening and watching the program, and we're glad that you join us here. But, you know, I'm also aware that we have a lot of people who are listening on the podcast and through the app, and we're just grateful that you're all here and we want to help you. And so whether it's Mark or JJ or somebody else, just know that we're listening to you as well. Even if you think we're all talking with British accents, I don't know. Wouldn't that be fun if we all did? That would be kind of interesting. I think we are going to go to a caller. We're going to talk with JC, who's calling us from Mount Vernon, Virginia. Watches us on YouTube. That's another way that people see us. And we're glad that you called us, JC. How can we help you today?
Hi, Miss Becky. I attended the Life Recovery this weekend, and I didn't think it was for me because the disease is for people that are dealing with recovery and addiction. And my issue was I had dealt with betrayal, and you explained to me that it does help too, because I had a hurt and I needed to deal with that. And I didn't realize that because I kept having triggers regarding that. And I just wanted to say that workshop did help a lot. And I just wanted to say that, you know, if anyone thinks that it's not for you, that it does help. And that was my comment for today. And I wanted to thank you.
Well, I love that, JC, and I'm glad that you were all in. But you know what I would love, now that you're on the show with both JJ and Mark, and also what we were just talking about with men seeking help, maybe JJ or Mark can give you some insight into those next steps of dealing with betrayal and recovery.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and also I wanted to ask JC a question on that theme of how hard it is for guys to accept help, ask for help. How did you overcome that in order to attend the Life Recovery Workshop?
Well, I had to forgive, and it was very hard to forgive, but I did. And the hard part was that at first it was just on my mind constantly, and just day by day, I didn't think about it as much, and I don't think about it as much now, but it still comes up, like I said, that triggers that, I did so much in the relationship, and then to have that happen to me, just, it still hurts, but I am much better, but it's the things come up, what brings me right back to that situation, and that's what I'm dealing with now. Like I said, it doesn't come up as much, but it does, and when it can send you right back there, and all the hurt and the pain comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you still in relationship with the person who betrayed you?
She calls and texts, maybe on my birthday, holidays, and things like that, and wants to act like nothing, like what she did. Since I forgave her, like everything's okay, and blah blah blah. But it's okay. But what you did was not okay.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And that's the point. One of the things we talk about at our workshops is what is forgiveness and what is not forgiveness. And one of the things that we need to understand is that forgiveness is not forgetting. A lot of people think that the Bible teaches that we're supposed to forgive and forget. And it's a misinterpretation of several passages in the Old Testament, but the one that we're most familiar with is where God says, I have forgiven their sins, I've forgiven their wickedness, I will remember their sins no more. And when he says that, it's not a passive verb that's used, like I forgot where I put my keys or my cell phone. It's an active verb. In other words, he chooses not to remember. And when we forgive, that's what we're doing. We're choosing not to remember. It's not that you're going to forget that you were betrayed. You're going to forget that she hurt you. You're always going to know that, but you can choose to no longer demand payment from her. But that doesn't mean that didn't matter. Of course it mattered. It was important, and it had an impact on you.
That's really great. Marc, would you add anything regarding the forgiveness issue?
Yeah, no,
JC?
and I'm glad you brought that up because forgiveness is a process. It's not an event. And I think a lot of times we can tend to think about forgiveness that way, that because I said I forgave you, like you're saying there, we should then not be triggered by it. We should then not remember it. But there's a difference between cognitive forgiveness and emotional forgiveness. And oftentimes the emotional forgiveness piece where we feel like we're at peace and we've let it go doesn't come until we have done the cognitive piece of forgiving someone. And there's one study that I read about that said that you have to do on average 18 times of cognitive forgiveness before the emotional piece of forgiveness follows. And so I think that's important to remember for people out there, is that it's a process. It's not just a one-time decision that you make.
I love that. And JC, we're so glad that you called today and that you were with us on Saturday at the Life Recovery Conference. I'm going to send you a copy of Forgiving What You'll Never Forget from Dr. Dave Stoop, who we mentioned at the Life Recovery Conference. He's one of the co-editors of the Life Recovery Bible. He's with Jesus now, but his wisdom lives on, and we're so grateful for all that he's done. But I'm glad that you made the choice, JC, to be with us. We're going to go on to our callers. We're going to talk with Andre, who's calling us from Irvine, California. And hi, Andre. We're so glad you called. How can we help you today?
Hey, it's good to be here, guys. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Andre.
We just got the privilege. I had the privilege of attending the EMB conference this past weekend in Orange County.
Wonderful.
And so I just wanted to share my experience a little bit and ask a specific question, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
We'd love to hear
Go for it.
from you.
Yeah, I think learning about the 3 I's, learning about the insignificant, incompetent, and just feeling like incapable really helped me understand how my addiction has been fueled by that shame cycle. I wasn't able to step into the line, and I wasn't able to break and understand like what pain I was hiding from until I for the first time in about 2 years of trying to break free from this addiction, understanding the fact that when I get triggered, when my inner child wants to come on and play, there is a lot of feelings of insignificance, and there's a lot of feelings of just believing that I'm not worth it, believing that I'm undesirable, and kind of trying to medicate with pornography when it comes to that. So it was really, really helpful to hear and to understand that new piece of knowledge, and it really helped me understand the fact that any time that I am triggered or any time that I feel like, you know, pornography might be the answer, I can pause and I can ask myself now, okay, am I feeling insignificant, incompetent? You know, what's going on? What led me to feel this way? And kind of almost battling that alongside with scripture. And that was a really, really powerful tool that has been, and I hope will be, very, very helpful for me.
Well, Andre, I know that there's lots of wisdom that men are surprised to hear about at Every Man's Battle. JJ, why don't you, expand on that concept that Andre just shared that was so meaningful for him?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And Andre, thanks for calling in. It's so encouraging to hear you applying the very things that we talked about at the workshop. And Becky, you're so right, because I think a lot of guys will come into the workshop thinking it's going to be kind of tools for behavior modification, right? I've been behaving this way that's unacceptable. Give me all the tools so that I behave the right way. And what they don't realize, and I will put myself in that category as well, what I didn't realize for so long is that I have to be willing to look at what's driving my behavior. It can't just be about behavior modification. So we build all of Friday kind of builds to the session that Andre was referring to on Friday night, where we talk about the role of shame in our addiction cycle, how powerful it is, and the core messages of shame, that I'm worthless, I'm unlovable, I'm unforgivable. And the categories that shows up in are what he referenced, the 3 I's, which are feelings of incompetence, feelings of insignificance, and feelings of impotence. So incompetence says I don't have what it takes, I can't handle it. Insignificance says I don't matter, at least I don't matter enough to the people who matter to me. And then impotence is powerlessness, right? I don't have control. I can't affect change. And when one or more of those things is operating in my life, I seek to act out as a way to mitigate or offset that shame message. And it's good, and it's happening behind the scenes. We don't even know that it's going on, and we think, oh, it's just because I think she looks great and I want to go talk to her, or I want to go to the massage parlor, the strip club, or the whatever, so that I can escape for a while. And we're not realizing what it is that we're actually escaping from.
Yeah, isn't it amazing when you uncover just what's underneath all of that? And Andre, you're expressing the freedom that you have received just by having that information. And in and of itself, it's a tool that can help you towards freedom. Marc, when you have helped people with shame issues, do they recognize it right away that that's really what's going on underneath? Or are they similar to what Andre's expressing?
No, I think it's similar to what you're expressing, Andre. Shame is interesting because shame makes us want to run and hide, right? Adam and Eve did that. The first sin that was committed, they went and they ran and they hid. And oftentimes I find that people will interpret shame as, a feeling of insecurity in the sense of, I have low self-esteem. But that's not just what shame is. Shame is a belief that's underneath that says I'm not good enough in some way. And oftentimes, because we want to run away from shame so quickly, we don't recognize the belief that is underneath because we don't stay there for so long. So learning actually to stay in the shame and examine where that came from, what is actually the belief underneath, because it's different for every person. And once you uncover that, then you can start to free yourself, because beliefs are like anchors, right? The wrong anchor that we hold on to will sink us in a storm, right? But if we can let go of that and look to scripture and find the right anchor to hold on to in a storm, the right anchor will actually save you.
Wow, that is a quote that I will be repeating. Beliefs are like anchors. What are you believing? Andre, we're so glad that you called. We're going to send you a copy of the Every Man's Bible. It'll help in your journey through this recovery. But it's so true. If we have a shame belief, we will operate from that. If we have the 3 I's that you guys talk about at Every Man's Battle, if you're a man and you're struggling with sexual integrity of any kind, Every Man's Battle could be the way out for you. I mean, we've seen it so many times. We've heard so many testimonies. And JJ will meet you there, won't you, JJ? Even though you don't have a British accent. We are going to continue taking calls, 1-800-229-3000, and we are going to come back after this break with more hope for your life. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
My husband was involved with pornography addiction.
He was unfaithful. I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. November 3rd through the 5th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We do love to hear from you. And actually, we're going to go back to Andre for a part 2 of his call. Andre, you had more questions for us, so we want to attend to those. How can we help you?
Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate your time as well. So let me ask you the question, and then I will give you some brief context for hopefully some clarification. When it comes to reconciliation, why would God decide to reconcile two people when there has been so much pain in their relationship? I don't know if you guys have ever heard the song called Kind by Corey Asbury, but there's a line in there that reads, sometimes marriages don't work and sometimes babies die. Sometimes rehab turns to relapse and you're left just asking why. And for all the prayers I've prayed, I still wonder if he's real. And if he is, how is he choosing who he does and doesn't heal? You know, my story is that I was supposed to be married right now, and a week before my supposed to be married, my fiancée called off our wedding because I revealed to her that I had betrayed her and lied about my pornography addiction. And I am horrified at the pain that I've caused her. And I think about the women in my ex-fiancée who might be struggling with, she's trying to find stability right now and safety when I have shattered her world. And might be eventually now or in the future struggling with feeling like she's not good enough. She's not capable. She's insignificant. She is worthless. She's not worthy of trust, that she might be responsible for anything, that she might be not good enough, you know? And so to me, when I think about, as we said earlier on the call, those three eyes, and thinking about how the betrayed, although she was not my spouse, the betrayed spouse might be struggling in her betrayal recovery, when there is so much hurt done in our relationship, and when you're 1 week away from marriage, how can there be hope for reconciliation in the future?
Well, Andre, for a second question, that was like a big one. I mean, to wonder why God reconciles with us, but the short answer for your former fiance, you know, we help so many women with those issues at Restore because it does impact them, even though you weren't married. We hear so many stories from women all the time where the betrayal wasn't within the context of marriage. It sometimes is because they saw their father betray their mother. It sometimes, you know, it upends their world, and the confusion begins that way. So for your ex-fiance, she would definitely be helped at a workshop like that. But I want JJ and Marc to speak to the other question that, you know, you're talking about with how does God decide who will be reconciled and who will be healed?
Well, Andre, let me ask you this one brief question. What prompted you to wait until 1 week before your wedding before you revealed that information?
Yeah, that's a good question. Marc. I think I wanted to stand up on the altar, look at her, and know that she deserved to marry an honest man and give her the choice. I regretfully wish I would have told her about it earlier, but I knew that as hard, the Holy Spirit, I was just staying close to God during that time, and it was 2 weeks before when I told her, and then I had a slip that happened a week before, and that's when she decided, rightfully so, that my addiction is not under control, and that she couldn't make vows. But I think for me, it was telling her the fact that, look, I want to be an honest man. You deserve an honest man, and I have been stuck in the shame cycle for so long, and I want to break free. This is what I want our marriage to look like, and I didn't want to bring this into our marriage.
Well, I
don't even know how to help her now.
Yeah, I commend you, Andre, for being honest. And as hard as it is, I think it likely was the right decision to take a pause, because I do think it's better to heal than to marry and then struggle in this area. And so what I would, you know, and know it's hard because, you know, a lot goes into wedding planning. There's a lot of money. And then there could be shame and embarrassment, right, from having to call it off or pause it and then let everyone know, you know, why you paused it. But to answer the question that you initially asked, you know, God is the great redeemer. That's the message of the gospel is God takes what is broken and he heals it, he restores it, and he can make it like new. And so God, you know, it's important to recognize and understand that we're two broken people when we go into a marriage. It's not going to be perfect, and there's a lot of healing and work that needs to be done. And so it's not really about finding somebody who is the perfect person for you. Marriage is really about finding somebody who is compatible in a way that you know how to seek healing together with one another, how to learn how to forgive, how to reconcile, how to work through problems. That's the kind of person you want to look for, not somebody who you don't have any issues with at all.
That's right. And JJ, I don't know if you want to add anything before the break, or you want to come back, or
I'll wait till we come back. Yeah, if that's okay.
Andre, it's a good question. The hard part is the work is ahead of you. We can't erase the past, but the past is the past, and we have to learn to move forward. And you took a good first step going to every man's battle. Your ex-girlfriend's going to have a lot of healing in front of her too, but it's possible. It's possible. We'll be right back after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are finishing a call with Andre, but JJ, I wanted to give you the last word.
Okay, so I've got a few things here. First is that, you kind of asked two questions. One, why would God reconcile to those who have been so awful to him or hurt him? And it's all about his character, his love, not about what we've done. So it's not, oh, if I'm responsive enough to his love, then he'll reconcile with me. No, he reconciles with me because he is a good God who loves us. But you asked the second question, which was tied to the first, which is, how can there be hope or reconciliation when there's been betrayal, specifically in my relationship with my fiancée? And I think it's really important to not conflate those two and think that because God is gracious to us out of his character, that means that everybody else has to respond to me the same way that God does, or I would have that expectation. I think it's really important that we recognize our choices have consequences.
Right.
And my wife is very fond of this phrase. She loves it all. She says it all the time. You can make a choice, but you can't choose a consequence. The consequence comes with the choice that was made. And I think part of maybe why you're asking these questions, maybe, I'm just going to throw this out there as a theory, is you're grieving too, right? She's grieving in terms of the betrayal trauma, but you're grieving the loss of the relationship. You're grieving the consequence of the behaviors that you engaged in. And part of your grieving process, the bargaining piece, is when we start to ask these questions. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what's the solution? How can I make sure? How can I earn your trust back and win you back and have the relationship again? And that's kind of the bargaining stage of grief. And I have to get to the place where I accept the fact that this may be a consequence to my behavior. I still hope not. I still believe, as I said at the workshop up front, and I say on the program, God is able to do far more than we can ask or even imagine. So there's always reason to hope that God can reconcile. But I have to accept the fact that I made a choice with my behaviors, and that choice comes with consequences that I don't have control over.
Right, right. Well, I hope that helps you, Andre. We'll be praying for you in your recovery and in this healing time. And, you can offer to your ex-fiancé to go to Restore, not because the two of you will get back together, but for her own healing. And it could be a very gracious offering for her. But just hold on. We'll give you information about those things. Speaking of somebody who's gracious, Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio with us in California. How are you, Larry?
Hey, doing good. Thank you so much, Becky. A few things. I know we got to get back to calls, but if you're a Club New Life member, tonight we have our Zoom gathering with Steve. And so if you want to sign up for Club New Life real quick so you can get in on that, give us a call. We'd love for you to join us, not just in the call, but as a Club New Life member. But so think about that. A couple other things quickly. Intimacy and Marriage coming up next weekend, and it's in Dallas. And I want to read a testimony here. I really appreciate being given a scholarship to attend the Intimacy and Marriage workshop. Had we not received the scholarship, we would not have been able to attend. I'm so thankful to the generous New Life supporters. My husband and I felt like this was the last hope for us to salvage our 30-year marriage. This workshop is not a fix-all. It's more like a launching pad. We were provided tools that we now have to plug in. With God's guidance and the hard work set before us, we just may have a fighting chance. Thank you again, New Life, for your heart for the brokenhearted. So, folks, if your marriage is struggling, give us a call. If your marriage is like I say, and I've been criticized for, I've got a pretty good marriage.
Yeah, don't say that.
But still come to this workshop. Your pretty good marriage could be off the charts better. So it's a workshop no matter what condition your marriage is in. So call us at 800-NEW-LIFE and ask about that. And ask about a scholarship. These aren't grants just to get people to come. This is if you have a need. So give us a call. We'd like to help. And lastly, we have a matching gift going on. This is a recorded program, so I don't have the precise amount, but we're well over the $200,000 mark. And we got to get to $361,000. So anything you can do to help, we would appreciate that. Then all those people who benefit from this ministry would appreciate it too. So enough said. Yeah. Thank you all who are giving.
I was going to say thank you, but also if you want to donate, you can go to newlife.com and click the donate button, or you can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we will be happy to take your donation. That will be doubled, which is the whole point of the matching gift. We want to keep doing what we're doing. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
And thank you to the donors as well. We're going to go back to the calls, and we're going to talk with Marie, who's calling us from Virginia Beach, Virginia, listens on WPMH. Hello, Marie. How can we help you today?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I guess my question is I need some advice on how to speak with my son. He's married, he's grown, and I believe that he may be involved, I'm not sure, with an addiction, and his wife as well. It started when he was in college, when his father and I were going through a divorce. His dad is a high-functioning alcoholic, had an affair, was abusive, left a family, never came back, and has had since then very little to do with our son. And my son feels so rejected. I'm sure he's wounded, so I'm pretty sure he's self-medicating. He was a teacher. He was teaching high school when he got married. He married into a family of substance abusers as well. And my daughter-in-law quit teaching school first, and then my son followed behind, and he is a musician. He is surrounded by drugs, and I'm pretty sure there's an addiction there. I need to know. He talks to me. He does keep in contact with me. I need to know the best way to how to approach him and discuss things with him. I know he's wounded and hurting, and I also think he thinks he should stay in that marriage because he doesn't want to abandon. My son's tries to do the right thing, sometimes to his detriment, and is a very loyal person. So I need to know some advice on how to speak with him and for him to share his heart, and also to let him know that it's okay. Sometimes marriages do not work out for whatever reason.
Okay, Marie. JJ, you want to start, and we'll go to Marc after that?
Sure. Quick question, Marie. Other than the fact that he's a musician and he's around drugs and alcohol, is there evidence that you have? Have you seen him using? Has he talked about using? Why is it that you believe that he has an addiction problem?
Okay. So first of all, before marijuana was legal in our state, my daughter-in-law came to me one time and was very defiant and said, I know you don't believe in marijuana. It's going to be legal soon. We're going to smoke it. There's nothing you can do about it. That was one. Number two, all of my son's friends I know use marijuana and or other things. I don't know these friends. These are all new since he started as a musician. All his former friends from college and high school, he doesn't really do much with them anymore. I also know my son is still wounded from the situation with his father. I know he hasn't healed. I'm sure of that. And my son also shared with me when he was in college that he did try different drugs, marijuana, even pills. So he's very honest with me and most of the time open. Over the years of their marriage, he has told me on numerous occasions he doesn't want to be married anymore and he doesn't know what to do. It's just a bizarre situation.
Okay. Gotcha. Wow. Well, number one, I'm so glad that you and your son have such an open and honest relationship. That's a huge benefit, that he's not feeling like he has to hide this from you. So you asked, how can I? I'm sorry, go ahead.
There are times I don't know how to approach this with him if he's doing anything now. His behavior sometimes, sometimes he's himself and sometimes he's extremely angry and takes it out on me. I know he's very stressed. They've moved 5 times in 8 years. My son was always a very responsible. Yes.
Okay, we're going to go to a break. Yes. You can hear the music. And we hear that it's a very complex relationship, complex situation, and that you want to have some way in order to have some clarity and to help him and to be supportive. And that's such a admirable thing to do. And I hear your heart. You want the best for him. The challenge is we can't do everything for our adult kids, which is hard because even in the emotional arena, you're feeling it to a core level and trying to reach to him in a way that will get him to the best way for him to live his life. And I love that. We're going to see if we can help you after this break. You can call us 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family, or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We were in the middle of a conversation with Marie, and we just have a few minutes, to go. Might get to another call, but if you're on hold, please hold on. And if you're listening at another time, we take calls Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 1 to 3 Eastern time at 1-800-229-3000, and we'd love for you to call. JJ, if you want to continue with Marie, and then we'll give Marc some time as well.
And I'll be real quick. So, Marie, you asked the question, how can I approach him? I would say you approach him with love. In the Synoptic Gospels, we know about the interaction that Jesus had with the rich young ruler. In Mark's Gospel, it says that Jesus looked at him and loved him and then gave him a hard truth, right? So I would say you start by approaching with love. One of the ways you communicate that is by appreciating his honesty till now, that he's had this open and honest relationship with you, that he hasn't hidden things from you. I think that that's important. And then finally, I would say you want to be clear, explicitly communicate your hope for his good, right? You see some of these concerns, you're worried about the long-term impact that they might have on his life, but that you're sharing these things because you want good for him, not because you're trying to control his life or keep him from doing something that he thinks is fun, but sharing your concern for him. So I would try those three things.
That's very good. Marc, how about you?
Yes. So Marie, a little while ago, I did a New Life video for Club New Life members on how to have a difficult conversation. So if you're a Club New Life member, I think that would be helpful for you if you could find that and watch it. But, I'm agreeing with what JJ's saying here. You really need to set up a time to talk to him. And I would, again, like you said, sometimes he's angry, sometimes he's resistant. I would make sure, don't surprise him. Just say, I want to have, half an hour when you're free because I want to have a conversation with you. And then when you have that conversation, express your concern. Talk about how it affects you, how it affects others, how you see it affecting him. The hard thing about this situation, right, is that he has free will. And oftentimes people don't seek help until they actually hit rock bottom. But I think you can lay that foundation work for him and you can, speak the truth in love, like JJ was saying, what Jesus did with the rich young ruler, right? He loved him. Speak the truth in love. When he does hit rock bottom, when he is ready for help, he'll remember that and he'll come back to you. And, and another thing that you could do is you recognize, maybe you see this in his life and he doesn't, that he has that father wound. And so maybe there's an opportunity there for you to either suggest or maybe even offer to pay for some counseling for him, because we know that there's a wound underneath, right, that drives the addiction behavior. And until we address the underlying issue, it's very, very hard for us to let go of the addiction.
Yeah. And Marie, I have one other thought. I would probably not direct him to get divorced. I would, the reason why I say that is a lot of times we can see something from the outside. And once you have those conversations, it can cause the person to put up a defense, whether it's your adult child, but it also could be a friend. Like, people don't want to be told what to do. And that's the hard part, because you see the pain and you could see where it could be better, but you're not in the marriage. And so just a caution there. And I would encourage you, if you haven't already gotten into your own process of healing from the past, with your ex-husband and with, the challenges there, that would also be good as you find support going forward. I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back. And I think that'll give you some clarity about how, and maybe pass it along to him as well. We're glad that you called. We have just a few more minutes in the show. We're going to go to Ann. And if you're online, hold on and we'll get right with you at the break. Hi, Ann. We just had a few minutes, but I wanted to get to your call. How can we help you today?
Well, to be genuine with you, I am a Holy Spirit-filled, born-again Christian from La Crescenta, California originally, and I live here in Carson City, Nevada now, and where I live in a large complex, they have a staff, And one of the members of the staff has chosen to use Catholic materials in the mail to try to retaliate at me because I'm a Christian. And recognizing, of course, that some time ago, it was a complicated situation, and a neighbor's daughter came to me in secret about a bunch of stuff, and I told her what I believed I should tell her to do. And somehow she and the mother had a conversation with this staff person, and the next thing you know, I started getting Catholic mail, and even the mailman noticed, hey, what's going on here? And I mentioned it to him. The post office can't do anything. And I'm calling to reach out to see if there's a solution, because I want to do things in a loving way, as Jesus does. And at the same time, I recognize that they are not up for the challenge of being honest with themselves. I've recognized that they're bad stuff.
Okay, so Anne, we just have a few minutes, but what your question is basically, how do I disregard what is being sent to me, or how I can have a conversation with them so that I don't receive this information?
Yes. How specifically, how can I approach this person so that they don't feel threatened, but that I approach them in a loving way?
Okay, Marc, what would you say?
Yeah,
to Anne?
so Anne, there's a whole field on defending the Christian faith called apologetics. And there's many things that you can look up on apologetics. And it's all about how to engage somebody in a thoughtful conversation, in ways to ask thoughtful questions of them, to get them to, question, or not just question, but, challenge themselves with what they believe. And also to be able to, give good solid reason for what you believe, what we believe as Christians. And so I encourage you to look into that. A good book I think that you might, that we don't have, I don't believe, but you might find helpful is a book called Tactics, a game plan for discussing your Christian values by Greg Koukl. But I think what I would say to you is be open to listening just as much as you are to speaking, because I think when you're open to hearing what they have to say, they'll be open to listening and hearing what you have to say too.
I love that. JJ, what would you add?
Yeah, that's just so good. Thank you, Marc, for sharing that. And it sounded like you said, Anne, that the staff person at the complex where you live is mailing you the Catholic material. If that's correct, have you talked with this staff person to ask them, are you sending this to me because you want me to engage with Catholicism? Like, have you had any conversation with that staff person?
There has the extent of the conversation is, please forgive me if I've done anything wrong on my part to them. That's as far as the conversation has been. And just the other day they said, okay. And then after that, Friday or Saturday, I got a whole bunch of Catholic materials. They sign my name up and my address. They sign it up, my name and address up for these mailings, is what they're doing.
Oh, okay. You're not being mailed from the staff person. They've signed you up to be on a mailing list for, okay,
yes,
all right, I'm
yes.
with you now.
Gotcha. They've been signing me and my name and my address up because I'm a Christian, and I first moved in here, and I have Titus 3, 4, 5 through 7 above my ID as a legal ID. And when I first moved in, it was Titus 4, 5 through 6, and the manager retired early, and they've been trying to retaliate at me and trying to make me move because I'm a Christian in their complex.
So I would agree with Marc. It's important to love your enemies, do good to those who persecute you, find ways to, and like Marc said, find ways to listen so that you then have the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, we're glad you called, Anne, and we'll be praying for that situation. Thank you, Marc, and thank you, JJ. Thank you, listeners.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.